Hello everybody, my name is Raxef, and with patch 7.3 just around the corner, today I wanted to take a look at some of the upcoming mounts, particularly my top 10 favorite mounts that I'm most looking forward to collecting in patch 7.3, the Shadows of Argus. So, let's just get into it. At number 10, we have the BLEAKHOOF RUINSTRIDER, and as you can see here, we have a Talbook. Now, it's not just any kind of Talbook, it is a thoroughly fel-corrupted Talbook from Argus. And the way that you unlock this mount is by getting an achievement called "And Chew Mana Buns," in which you need to slay 2,000 non-trivial demons on Argus. And that probably means the World Quest demons as well as any elite rares that you can find on Argus. Now, like I said before, this is a fel-corrupted Talbook. Normally I'm not a fan of the Talbook models, but I have to make an exception here because I do have kind of a soft spot for fel-corrupted mounts in general. I love how this the mane of the Talbook is kind of radiating this green fel energy. You can even see it in its eyes and its mouth and in its nose. And even coming out from its tail, you have it kind of almost oozing this green fel energy. And I do like this little touch that they added here. If we zoom in a bit, I like this little touch that they added with the little crystals in this pouch coming off the side. I like it when Blizzard adds little bits of detail like that to their mounts. You know, it's not the most exciting mount per se coming in Argus. You're going to see some pretty cool ones later in the video, but I've got to hand it to them. They've taken a mount which I originally had no love for, and they made me like it, and that's why it's number 10 on this list. Swooping in at number 9 is the Vibrant Mana Ray. Now, as with Talbooks, I'm not really a huge fan of the Mana Ray model. However, Blizzard has managed to sway me again by coloring this particular mount purple. Purple is one of my favorite colors, so if you give me a purple colored mount, chances are I'm at least going to mildly like it. Now, the way that you get the Vibrant Mana Ray is by killing a rare spawn on Argus called Panthara. Panthara has a chance to drop a fel-spotted egg, after which 5 days it will then turn into a cracked fel-spotted egg. And once you click on it, you have the chance to unlock this mount, as well as a couple different others. They're the same model, just different color schemes, but if I had this fel-spotted egg, which I got from Panthara, I would certainly want it to hatch into a Vibrant Mana Ray. Nothing else is really standing out about this mount. There's no cool attentions to detail. I do like how the head looks with this horn on top, and it's got these 4 eyes at the front with these fangs. I mean, it's a cool-ish looking model, but there's nothing super special about it other than the fact that I really like the color purple, and this is a purple mount, so I'm going to try to get it at least once, if not collect the whole family of them. At number 8, we have the Vicious Warfox for the Horde. So this mount you unlock through a PvP vendor in patch 7.3, and while I'm not one who really does PvP, this mount is certainly going to have me giving it a try so I can get enough currency to buy it, because A, it's a fox, and I love foxes. I think that the fox mount that you could unlock in the Suramar questline is one of the best mounts in Legion. It even has the same mount special. It does the cute little figure 8 if you zoom out on it. Oh, it's so cute! But on this mount particularly, they gave it a couple of interesting details. If you zoom in on its face, you can see that it's actually had one of its eyes clawed and scarred, and it has this little lock on its neck as well, along with a war horn on the back side. So it's a really cool mount with some very interesting PvP related details. And like I said, while I'm not really a big fan of PvP, I love foxes and I love mounts that give little nods to detail, so this is certainly going to be in my mount collection when I get into patch 7.3. Next up at number 7, we have the DARKMOON Dirigible. This mount can be unlocked at the DARKMOON Fair for the whopping price of 1,000 DARKMOON Fair tickets. And while there's nothing particularly standing out-ish about this mount, it doesn't do anything special as far as I know, it just kind of really looks like a mini Zeppelin. It does look cool. I mean, it has a unique design. I think particularly if you're a goblin, or even if you're a gnome, this mount would look really cool. I'm not so certain how it would look if you were, say, a Tauren. What would be kind of comical is if the dirigible stayed the same small size and you just were this huge Tauren kind of poking all out of it and not really being able to fit very well. But it's a cool looking mount. I like the angry shark tip it has here on the front side. Overall, it's a unique mount that we don't really get to see that much of, so the few times that you will see it, for those people who really farm up those Darkmoon Fair tokens, or those Darkmoon Fair tickets rather, it's going to be a cool experience to see that mount. So nothing remarkable about it, but it's fairly unique in its design, and I think it could have some really cool aesthetic pairings with the goblins and the gnomes. So for that reason, I give it number 7 on my list. At number 6, we have the Violet SPELLWING. Now, this mount you obtain similarly to how you got the Reigns of the Grove Warden from Hellfire Citadel. You basically start a quest after you kill the last boss, Argus the Unmaker, from the Antorus raid. Now, it's not really certain which difficulty you need to complete in order to get the quest to unlock this mount, but I'm hoping that it starts at Heroic, certainly not Mythic. I think Heroic would be a good place to start, as well as having it obtainable in Mythic. Now, this is a Phoenix. We've seen this model before. However, what is really unique about it that I like is if you get kind of a top-down view of it, you notice that it changes colors from purple to blue, back to purple, back to blue, and it goes through all these different shades, and I think that that is just a really, really cool idea for this kind of mount. It's great that they are able to take a model which we've seen so many iterations of in terms of Fire Phoenixes and Void Phoenixes and Fel Phoenixes, and you see them in orange and blue and red and green and all these different colors, but it's always this one solid color. You don't get to see this color changing profile very often. So while it is, like many of the other mounts that I've covered before, not a particularly unique model, the effects of the mount itself just kind of elevate it all that much more, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting this mount and riding it around a bit, even if it's just for casually sitting around town, just because of how pretty the effects are. I certainly hope there are some spell effects when you're moving forward, perhaps some purple and blue light shines off of it, or it leaves a trail of purple and blue that changes colors as the mount changes colors. We're really just going to have to see, but I'm really excited to get this mount, and I'm really looking forward to riding it around and seeing exactly how much detail they've given to this mount in terms of the color changing. Next up at number 5, we have the Antoran Gloomhound, which you unlock by completing the achievement Glory of the Argus Raider. Now, this mount is supposedly Sargeras's personal hound, which he crafted out of a Fellstalker and imbued it with all this power and giving it wings until it just mutated to his liking. And I have to say, even though it uses the same base skeleton as the Demon Hunter class mount, I really, really love the look at it. I mean, I love these wicked curving horns that it has. I love the skull that it has for a face. Walking around, it looks kind of dopey, but if you pull up its mount special, it looks really, really cool. It just gets up on its legs and it gives you a big roar, spreading out its wings with its big, I love its big purple glowing hands and feet, like it's part of the void. It just looks really, really cool overall. Definitely has some pretty standard animations. If you've seen the Demon Hunter class mount, like I said, you've seen basically what this mount can do. But I think just in terms of the look of it, it is a pretty awesome looking mount, if I have to say so myself. I mean, you even have this purple void energy coming off of its tail and off of its back between its wings. So and how you unlock it by getting Glory of the Argus Raider, it's not an impossible achievement to get. It may take some time, but you can eventually, with some good friends or good guildmates, get this mount. So I like it when Blizzard offers cool looking mounts that are, while difficult to achieve, still doable. Still doable to get the achievement. So I'm really looking forward to getting Glory of the Argus Raider so I can add this one to my collection. Now, as you might have guessed, number 4 goes to the Antoran CHARHOUND. It has the same exact model and look as the previous mount. However, instead of it having void energy, it has all of these flames erupting from its feet and hands, from its tail, even coming out from its neck right behind its skull. So the animations are completely the same. However, you obtain this mount by defeating the Hounds of Sargeras. It is a low drop rate mount. So different from how you get its brother, the Gloomhound, but it's, I think, mildly better looking. It almost reminds me, if you look at it head on, kind of like a Balrog from Lord of the Rings, how it's got these big horns and it's breathing fire. But like I said, it's the same exact model as before. I just think it looks slightly better. In game, it might look completely different once you're moving around and walking on it. Perhaps the Gloomhound may look a bit better compared to the CHARHOUND, but at the moment right now, in the PTR, I can say that I am very much looking forward to, well, not so much looking forward to, but I'm preparing myself to farm the Hounds of Sargeras over and over and over again, even beyond this expansion, so that I can get this mount, because I really just want to be riding around on a Balrog. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Of course, at number 3, we have the ugliest mount in all of World of Warcraft, the Shackled ur'zul. The Shackled ur'zul is actually a drop from Mythic Argus the Unmaker. So from the last Mythic boss for Antorus, you can get this mount. So not many people are going to get this mount, first of all. And I don't know if that's a blessing in disguise or a real shame, because while this thing is ugly as heck, it is certainly one of the most unique mounts that I have ever seen in World of Warcraft. I mean, this thing has 5 heads. It is formed out of the tormented bodies and souls of fallen soldiers from the Army of the Light. So when you're riding around on this thing, particularly say if you're a Draenei, you are riding around on your dead comrades, basically. I mean, there's no other way to say it. You have all these heads, you have this drooling mouth that's just, it's drooling like this green slime. No part of this is good looking at all. You have these ugly bony wings. I mean, there's no redeeming quality to this mount at all, except for how ugly it is. And that is the reason why I like it so much. I mean, the mount special itself, I mean, when it lets out that roar from the main head, even though it's got this big mouth down here at the bottom, it is just absolutely terrifying and horrendous. And for that reason, I don't know what my chances are of getting this mount. Probably not likely, but I am going to hope and pray that I get it, because gosh darn, I want the ugliest mount in World of Warcraft, and that is that. At number 2, we have the Lucid Nightmare. Now, the way you unlock this mount is not actually known yet. We think that it's going to be a process similar to getting the Riddler's Mindworm, which you have to go through this whole basically scavenger hunt using one of the Warcraft books. And it's actually very, very involved, and it's quite impressive how the community figured out how to get that mount. But with this mount, we don't have a clue yet. Arguably, though, it is one of the better looking mounts coming out in patch 7.3. While it is just a horse, I mean, it's a unicorn. It is an evil looking unicorn with purple void stuff coming from its legs and coming from its horns. It is just very evil, dark looking, and those are the kinds of mounts that I really, really like. While it may be plain and in terms of its general design, and while it may not have any real great animations, it's very similar to the Talbook that I talked about earlier in that sense. The model itself is not particularly unique, but the way that it looks, how cool it looks, and arguably the status that comes with unlocking the mount, because there is most definitely going to be some big convoluted process to get it. There will be a process to get it, and I'm sure everyone will have a chance to get this mount, like Ian Hazzikostas stated before, but it is definitely going to be a process that is going to take some hard work, which I am looking forward to because I need this evil-looking unicorn. And of course, lastly, at number 1, we have none other than the Light-Forged Warframe. And how could it be anything else? I mean, first, in order to get this mount, you need to reach Exalted with the Army of the Light. And then once you've reached Exalted with Army of the Light, then you need to drop 500,000 gold to get this mount. But I think it's mostly well worth it. It is a cool looking mount. There has been nothing else like it in the game. I know that when I was riding around in one of the quests in the PTR, I was thinking, gosh, I would love to have this, but as a mount all the time. I mean, you have a little blaster cannon on your left hand. You sprout these wings when you're flying. I mean, even when you're doing your mount special, you do this salute, and then you fire these projectiles in the air, and your wings are showing when you do this salute. I mean, it is just a really, really, really cool mount that you can get. It's definitely the gold sync mount of Legion, but like I said, it's mostly well worth it. At the very least, I would have liked to have seen maybe in the future we can get a Fel-forged Warframe or a Void-forged Warframe. I mean, I don't think it'd be too hard to do some color swaps on this mount. I mean, like I said, I love corrupted mounts, Fel-corrupted mounts, Void-corrupted mounts, evil mounts. Give me this, but just covered in purple and green, and I will be the happiest camper. But at the moment, this is what we're going to get for now, and even though my character is not a paladin, I mean, if you have a paladin, you have to be going around on this mount. There's no other mount that paladins should be allowed to ride once Legion comes and once you reach Exalted with the Armies of the Light. This will be the quintessential mount for Legion, and I'm really looking forward to farming all that gold so that I can purchase it for my warrior. It's just so cool. You're riding around in a mech. What's not cool about that? You have a gun on your hand that shoots balls of light to destroy the demons, and you fly around on your wings of righteous fury and light. It's the cool mount. There's no other word for it. And that is going to do it for today's video. If there are any mounts that I didn't cover that you are particularly looking forward to unlocking in patch 7.3, let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, then of course give it a thumbs up, and if you like my channel, you want to keep up to date with the videos that I publish, then of course feel free to subscribe. With that being said, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you later!